Yes, I think we're live. Tapiwa, what's going on?
Yeah, I
How
could
are
hear
you?
you clearly. I'm good. I'm good.
Good to
I
see you,
hope I
man.
find
Good to see you.
you. Yeah, always a pleasure, man.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. To be
Mm.
honest, I'm just hoping that today it's not going to be an issue with the internet because yesterday one of my guests was we're having a little bit of technical glitches, but
Okay.
I can hear you nice and clear, so we should be good
Okay.
to go.
Okay.
So,
Let's do
Tapiwa,
this.
Tapiwa, I've been meaning to invite you on this show for quite a long time. Um,
Mm.
the reason why I really wanted you here is because of the knowledge that you have and some of the articles that you've been writing. And I wanted to know a little bit more about the ins of, I mean, the reasons as to why Tapiwa has been writing such deep articles. Um, so that's the reason why I really wanted you here to sort of, elaborate on us. But anyway, before we go any further, thank you so much
Okay.
for coming through.
Yeah,
And
I'm also honored to be here.
oh, fantastic, man. And and
Mm.
and and we do appreciate also the audience or those people that are watching us at this particular moment in time. I would like you, Tapiwa, to sort of introduce yourself a little bit, so that our
Okay.
audience would know who you really are.
Okay. Oh, so maybe I can start from what I think people already know.
Oh
Then
yeah.
I go a bit into what I think they don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so the name is Tapio Stolen. I'm actually an educator or a teacher by profession.
Right.
Okay, and I'm also a certified life coach, life skills coach, and I also happen to be an author. But mainly, what I focus on is how we can make this life suck a bit less. And
Right.
I'd like to repeat that point. It's not like life is never going to suck. It's going to suck, but
Definitely.
I'm
I
sure
agree with
we are there are several things we can actually do to make
you.
it suck a bit less. So
Yeah.
that's what I try to focus most of my writings on.
Fantastic, man.
Okay. Then what I think people don't know.
Hmm.
Mm, okay, I'm 36 years of age.
Wow.
Single. And
That's a
don't
good
ask me. That's a topic for another day. That's actually a topic for another day. Yeah, but I also have a Bachelor of Arts in Education, and I majored in English. And I
Okay.
also do have a master's in Educational Leadership Management and Development.
Fantastic,
I
man.
think
You are
that's all about
a well-educated man, bro. I feel I feel embarrassed right now because of my education level. I feel like I need to go back to school. You know what I mean?
no,
That's impressive. That's an impressive CV there, Tapiwa. And you're an educator. You teach in Mutare, right?
yeah, I do teach in Mutare.
You're based in Mutare. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually based in Mutare, Zimbabwe.
Okay. So tell us, Tapiwa, what made you think of going into writing? Among all things, it seems as if you majored mostly, on being an educator rather than anything else. Um, what made you start writing articles and writing books?
Okay, let me try to take you down memory lane. Okay, as
Right.
far as I can go. I still remember when I was a bit young. Most of my friends would come to me, seek advice,
Mhm.
and I would find so much satisfaction in helping out my friends.
Mhm.
It was actually for free. They were my friends. I
Yeah.
would derive so much satisfaction out of it. And back then, I still remember I was influenced by the likes of Dr. Phil, Joel Steen, and it actually became my passion. Just to try to make an impact on other people's lives.
Yeah.
And you know what they say. They say if you want to impact your own life, make sure you impact a hell lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it actually became my mission to try to impact not only my friends but a greater number of people. So, like I said, I ventured into education, but the
Mhm.
problem was even as I was teaching,
Mhm.
although there's very little distinguishing teaching and life coaching, I didn't feel fulfilled. I felt
Okay.
like something still missing. I'm not teaching. I'm exactly what I do want.
Mm.
So I started to think of how I can try to impact a lot of people at the same time, and I couldn't think of any better way than to write. So that's how I started writing.
this is this is impressive. But so what
Hmm.
the mission was from the beginning was to sort of educate. But then you
Educate.
decided you thought it wasn't having enough impact, or you weren't having enough impact within the education side of things, especially what you've really started to do. But then you thought you
Hmm.
wanted more. You wanted to sort of educate a little bit more than what you were doing at that particular moment in time. Then you decided maybe to go into writing books. And are you making that great impact now that you started to write books? Are you
Oh,
satisfied?
no, one step at a time. That's how I'm actually taking it, impacting one person at a time. Yeah, at least I receive some comments usually after my articles, in messages and stuff. So my mission is not about the numbers mainly. One of the things that I actually focus on, or one of the things that I actually try to put my mind on, is to perform even for a small audience like I'm performing for 1 million people. So I try to focus more on the quality of my stuff than the quantity.
Than the
And
quantity.
I know one day it will hit the right person.
Definitely, man. You have
Mm,
to start from somewhere. The most important thing, like what I always tell a lot of people, is you need to start something for people to really recognize you. But it's not
mm,
only a matter of you getting recognized; it's a matter of you, giving out content that is relevant and
mm,
content that a lot of people would
mm,
actually get encouragement, motivation, or inspiration from. So,
mm.
for you, writing is something that would definitely impact people. And
Yep.
I've been impacted by one of your books, which I bought. I think when it came out, I was one of the people to buy that book. Am I lying or
Yeah,
not?
no, no, true, true, true. I still remember you sent me a pic of the book. I was actually flattered, and thank you
Yeah,
for that, by the way.
no, that's awesome. I didn't want to get any recognition for that, but anyway, you. So yeah, so far you've written 2 books, and you've got one which is called "Become a Happier You," which I've bought and which
Mhm,
I've read. It's quite interesting. It's quite striking, to be honest. And then you've got
mm,
"Communicate Like a Pro." Um,
mm.
I know these 2 books, they speak of a very different kind of trajectory, but most
Okay.
of them are looking at people, so they're people focused, which is
Yeah.
something that you really are very much interested in, to sort of enrich other people's lives through books. Now, one speaks about communication, communicating like a pro, as the book suggests, but then
Okay.
it's way deeper than just communicating like a pro. There's so many things that you teach in that book, which is quite
Okay.
relevant to people wanting to communicate effectively. And then if you're looking at becoming a happier you, that one
Mhm.
is a little bit deeper, um, and it really speaks mostly to, I should say, it's more about you than anything else. It's something that is
Mm,
quite individualized, if I should say that, if I should use that word. But at the end of the day,
okay.
you're trying to sort of teach a life lesson in that book. So I'd like to I'd like to know a little bit more, if possible, if you can just break down both your books, maybe starting with "Become a Happier You." Just tell us what it means, and then we can then move on to communicating like a pro.
Okay. Um, though I would have preferred to start with communicate like a pro
Start
because
with "Communicate like a
I
pro."
feel like I have more to say about becoming happy you.
Yeah, start with that one. Start with that one.
Okay. Like you said, communicate like a pro. It's more like a handbook that teaches us how to communicate. We communicate every day, so it is actually a very useful skill, a useful skill that can actually make a deal or even break a deal. So it's something that's very important and that should not be undermined. So that is exactly what I was trying to look at, and and I try to shine light on many things that can make communication effective. And also, if I can paint maybe a different picture from what other people see, is that I wanted to make every experience count.
Okay,
You know, most of the things that I learned. Okay, I'm sorry for that.
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so most of the things that I learned about communication, I wouldn't want to lie, was through the education field because you get to interact with a lot of people, different age groups, from the
Mhm.
young, from the very young, the young adults, even to your colleagues, the very old. So I've learned to communicate with people from different age groups, and it's that's how I learned a lot of communication skills. And I just started that instead of keeping all this experience to myself, why not share it?
Mm, that's quite impressive. And this is one thing that I always I always teach in these sessions that I do. That if there is anything that is critical, especially when you are getting into business or in daily life, really, is communication. And when we're talking of communication, we are not only talking of communication, just the normal communication. Generally, everybody speaks, right? And we are not talking of speaking, we are talking of communicating and communicating effectively.
Yeah,
Therefore, this actually is, I mean, the underlying term is effective. So for
exactly.
you to really get to someone or to get to a certain demographic, you need to be a person who is able or with the abilities or someone who is capable to sort of break down exactly what you're trying to, the message that you're trying to give out to a certain demographic. So I've heard a lot of people saying that, you have to go at a certain level or to a certain level when you're speaking to a certain demographic, right? And
Exactly, exactly.
that's exactly what effective communication means. If you're going, let's say, to someone who is vending, who is selling tomatoes and stuff like that on the streets,
Mhm.
the language that you're going to be using there is totally different from the language that you're going to be using when you're speaking to someone who is using computers or who is selling computers. Even though
Exactly.
each and every single one of these people are speaking, or I mean, are
Mhm.
selling items, they're selling different
Mhm.
items, your language then changes. So you sort of adjust your communications so that it can become effective in that scenario that you're in at that particular moment in time. So I believe that effective communication is quite critical on our day-to-day lives, and this is something that everybody should have to learn. So
Yeah,
it's I always emphasize on effectiveness of it, not just
yeah,
you communicating and talking without it making any sense to anybody or to any demographic
yeah,
this
yeah.
message
And
to.
one thing that I also like about what you mentioned is there is no one size fits all approach to communication.
Yeah, that's it.
You have to adjust accordingly,
Mhm.
depending on a whole lot of other things:
One,
status, the person you're talking to, all the setting. There are a whole lot of things to consider before you communicate. So there's no one size fits all to communication. You need to adjust accordingly, and you said it just
thank you, man. Thank you. I like that kind of acknowledgement.
right.
And but anyway, it's very important. It's very important, especially for people that are, I always speak to entrepreneurs and stuff like that. People that are doing business or that are looking to do business. If you're aspiring really to become an entrepreneur, you need to be able to speak. You need to be able to communicate. And when you communicate with me, you definitely have to communicate differently when you're going to talk to Lance Mambondiani, the owner of a bank. I
Mm,
can speak to you in a certain way, but then if you're going to those kinds of people or people that are higher up in their ranking, you want to ask for
mm,
money, you really need to change your
mm,
tone. You need to change your language. Therefore, communicate
Exactly.
effectively. So that's a good one. I think you've broken it down. Everyone who wants to buy the book, Communicate Like a Pro, you learn a lot of lessons on how you can communicate. This will enhance your business. This will enhance how you interact with people on a daily basis, and also to sort of improve yourself. It could be in this life. It could be, if you really want to get to speak to people that are higher up than you are, and so on and so forth. So that book will teach you all these things, because they are the most important nuggets of you communicating effectively. Now, let's speak about one book which I think everybody should get. And I just want to, this one has got a very emotional attachment, I think, to you. The
Yeah, of course.
story, the story that it depicts is a story of your life. And I would like you to maybe break it down a little bit for us and talk to us about that book.
Okay. So what I tried to do with Become a Happy You was to try to break down happiness as practically as I can.
Okay.
Because I don't want to lie, I've read a lot of books about happiness and stuff, but I think one of their downfalls is their failure to be practical about it, to break it down practically.
Mhm.
So, in Becoming a Happier You, I tried by all means make to give a picture of how we can organically get happiness,
Mhm.
and that's what I was mainly targeting: how we can practically achieve happiness. And I couldn't think of any better way to make it as practical than to put examples or maybe certain chapters about my life, because I don't know anyone else better than myself. So
Right.
I had to try to put it even some of the most emotional sides of my life,
Mhm.
yeah, to make it as practical as possible and to make it have the impact that it should actually have,
Mhm.
especially when you want to stress certain points.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I tried. And you know what? Side note, I also believe that the moment you freely talk about something, you exercise power over it.
Mhm.
So there are certain things I experienced that that are not pleasant in my life. I was as a teenager. I was ill most of my teenage life.
Mhm.
So it's something that was actually like a family secret.
Mhm.
But I wasn't well. I wasn't well as a teenager, but I managed to overcome that.
Wow.
I managed to overcome that, and it actually made me stronger. It
Yeah.
actually made me stronger. And and why should I keep such a story to myself when it can actually inspire someone?
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
So it's not the only thing that I mentioned about my life. There are a lot of things that I mentioned about my life, but I assume that's also one key thing that I mentioned. So I was just trying to make it as practical to be practical as possible.
Wow. This book is very much relatable to quite a lot of people that are going through the same. And this is always what I encourage people, that sometimes the most important thing, or the most powerful thing, is your story.
Mhm.
When you're talking of your story, we are talking of something that you've experienced. So your experiences are quite important. Your
Mhm.
experiences carry a certain emotion that you're able to sort of exude and then share with other people, so that they can understand that some of the circumstances that they do go through in life, they are not the only ones that are going through such. Therefore,
Exactly.
if you've managed to overcome that, and you've given yourself time to reflect upon it and then put it in a book, that decision of you
Mhm.
to think, I need to write about this, it shows some
Mhm.
sort of bravery on your part.
Mhm.
And by you being that brave to share your story, it's not only going to impact people, but it's also going to
Mhm.
sort of maybe give you a little bit of a breather. you now start feeling a little bit lighter about yourself. Like you said, you mentioned something like, something like a family secret. We all have family secrets. So sometimes there could be things that could be happening to me, but I feel like I don't have to share these things because I feel sometimes embarrassed. I feel like, no, you know what? It's not something that I need to share. What is my family going to say? But at the end of the day, man, I give you all the respect for writing this book to us, for writing this book for you, and for also writing this book to other people that might benefit out of it. And thank you so much. It's quite an interesting book. We don't want to sort of deep into it because I know that's very, very emotional. And we don't want to be asking for tissues on this show. But if anyone is interested in this book, please do reach out to Tapiwa, or do go to Amazon and you can order a copy from there. The book is on Amazon. It's called Become a Happier You, from Tapiwa Sithole, or by Tapiwa Sithole. And you can also get the other copy, Communicate Like a Pro, on Amazon as well. So these are the books that this gentleman has been writing, those doors. And I would like to encourage everyone here to go and purchase a copy. Now, before we go there, anyway, just tell us what's the price for the books, because people will be asking, oh, the book, how much is it?
Okay, so because I wanted them to reach a larger audience, I made them cheap intentionally, so people should actually rush and go get themselves copies. There is the ebook version, which is currently about $3.
Wow, that's quite affordable for such kind of a book.
Yeah, it's I made it cheap intentionally so that it can maybe reach a larger audience. So yeah, it's still at that same price, so people can actually get the ebooks for just about $3.
Wow!
But there is also the paperback version, or the hard copy version, which they can actually order online and have Amazon print it for them and ship it to their location. But this one is a bit more expensive, because it's somewhere around $6, $6 US. But that excludes the shipping costs.
Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do, one person who is watching here, if you can maybe put down in the comments to say, I want the book, I will purchase one book for that one person who is watching this program. And I'll only purchase that book to the person who is responded, who is written that in the comment section first.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna bless someone with that book because it blessed me, and I think it's an amazing book. So I'll get that book for that person. I don't know who that person will be, but I'll get one. So yeah, going on then to articles. You write mostly about life. Man, what's up with that? What's going on? What's going on? Why? What's going on? What's going on? This is the most interesting question that I've already been asking myself, because going through most of your blogs and articles and stuff like that, I'm like, this guy loves life, and this guy loves to impact life. Can you tell us more why you choose to write such articles?
Well, like I said, I try to approach life practically. I try to be practical about life. It's not like I've written about happiness before. It's not like I'm always smiley, always happy, never encountering any form of sadness or any downfalls. I'm just human, like most people. I'm just human, just like everyone else. But what I think the difference about me, or the difference that I try to make is, I try to learn from each and every experience.
Right. Okay.
I try to learn from each and every experience. I take every day as an adventure. I try to take every day as an adventure, whereby I'm actually going to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I, if something resonates with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like, oh, I should share this.
Yeah,
You
wow.
know, I think I should share this. Then I try to, put my feelings on paper. I try to express it in a way that I'm actually feeling about it, that I'm actually thinking about it, and I just try to pour my heart on paper, and
Oh.
that's how I usually try to come up with my articles.
So these are daily experiences. So your most of your articles on the titles and stuff like that are daily experiences.
Yeah, these are daily experiences, whether it's something that I experienced myself,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe something that maybe struck a chord when I was reading or
Mm-hmm.
something. Then it's any form of experience, any form of experience, whether it's something that I experienced personally, or maybe someone shares with me something. Then I'm like,
Mm.
I think
You
there's a
think
lesson
deeper
here.
about it, and then you decide to write an article.
Yeah. Instead
Wow.
of impacting one person, I try by all means to impact maybe 10 more people. Yeah.
Which is critical, isn't it? Because sharing is
Mm.
caring, you know.
Yeah,
Because
true.
some of the views and the thoughts that you have in your head, um,
Mm.
they do not benefit anybody. They can only
They
benefit
don't.
you. So if you
Mm.
don't share them, then nobody knows exactly what you're thinking. But what you're thinking could be very impactful to other people as well. So it is
True.
it is unselfish of you to be in a position
Mm.
of sharing those kinds of stories. Now,
Yeah.
I just wanted to know about one very important article that you just recently wrote. Um, this is to do with death. You say it's called
Mm.
"Are We Dead? Are We Dead or Alive?" Right?
Are we dead or alive?
And
Yeah.
I've 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 read that one and actually struck me. And I'm just thinking,
Mm.
what were you thinking writing that? Can you
Well, I
elaborate?
hope. Okay. The first thing, I hope I didn't spook you
No, you
by
didn't.
writing
You
by
didn't.
writing about that article. When I actually wrote that article, I knew from the start that I was actually taking a dive at the deep end.
Right. Okay.
And one of the most interesting aspects about writing that article was to try to not to make it as gloomy as possible.
Right.
So yeah, it's not a topic that most of us do want to talk about. No one really wants to talk about death, and
Mm.
I think for the greater part of our lives, I think it has been made like some sort of taboo
Yes. True.
to talk about death. But you know what? Uh, what I thought when I was writing that article, or before I wrote that article, was that you know we cannot talk about light if we don't talk about darkness.
Mm. True.
We cannot talk about living when we
Mm.
don't talk about.
Wow.
A lot of people, we want to live, we want to experience life to the fullest,
Mm.
and we think that by not talking about death, that's how we can experience life to the fullest, which
Mm.
I think is some sort of denial,
That's impressive.
which is some sort of denial, because it's a sad reality. We're all going to die.
Wow.
And so it's good that we know that, we embrace that, so that it helps us to live and make the most out of our living.
Mm.
And also, one thing that actually surprised me when I was writing it, because about writing, there's certain ideas that just come to you as
Yeah.
you write. As you
Yeah.
write, it's like it just starts coming, to you.
Mm.
I talked about dying 3 times,
Yeah. Wow.
where it's actually something that I really liked when I wrote that article, because most of us are mainly concerned about dying physically.
Mm.
But the truth is, we can actually die before we die physically. You know,
That's spooky, man. That's spooky. You need to
yeah.
elaborate on that.
Yeah, because a lot of us are so focused on dying physically that we forget what living really is. You know, by not pursuing our dreams, our passions,
Mhm.
we're just merely existing.
Wow.
In other words, we're dead.
Wow.
So that's the first form of death you can actually suffer from, even when you're breathing. Because as long as you don't push for your dreams, do what it takes, and make every minute count,
You're
you're
dead.
as good as dead. You did. You did. Then I went on to talk about the physical death that we all know of.
Mhm.
Then I went on to talk about a third version,
Mhm.
which is dying in the memories of those whom you love, which I think is very, very critical because you also have to. Most of us are concerned about physical death to the extent that we forget what's most important, which is how people will remember us. How will people look at
This is deep.
you? Can die. You can die physically, but if you live life the right way, you can live forever in the minds of those who love you.
Wow.
So,
Right.
so yeah, that's those are the three forms of death that I came up with, and I'm sure those who really want to know more about this, they can actually go check out the article for themselves.
Yeah, you need to go check out the article. The article is called "Are we dead or living?" Is it?
Are we dead or alive?
Are we dead or alive? That's the name
Yeah.
of the article. I'll I think I'll share the link later on. So
Mm.
you say there's three forms of death that we've addressed in that article, and the first form of
Mm.
death is you being a person living and not pursuing your dreams. Um,
Yeah, you actually be existing, not living.
you're just existing. You're not living.
You're
So
just,
you are basically you are dead. So that's the first
yeah.
form of death, right?
Mm.
So
Yep.
this is to sort of encourage people to chase their dreams and to not
Yep.
be in a position where you're sort of sitting down and thinking that somebody is going to come and save me. The
Yeah. True.
idea of being there with others and you not doing anything is sort of can be aligned or can seem like you are dead. I don't want to say people are dead. I'm trying to sort of run away from the actual you're actually dead. So it's a very interesting sort of likeness of
Mm.
someone who's dead. Now the second one is the actual physical death, right?
Yep.
Which everybody knows, dying body and stuff like that. But then there's the third one, which is dying in the memory of those people that that you love. Meaning to
Mm.
say, if you die and you haven't actually done something that people remember you for, then you quickly die of their memories. So you
Yeah.
quickly fade away. Your death is quicker, even though you are
Mm.
dead, but your after death is quicker than
It's
that of a
quicker.
person who has actually made an impact. So that means that you die after a few weeks. When you're gone, you've been something that a lot of people
Mm.
were not approving of. Um,
Mm.
you die quite quickly.
You die. You die quickly. True.
This is impressive, man. I don't know where you get those deep thoughts from, but it's quite interesting that I've learned
Mm.
a lot, and
Mm.
I would need maybe to go back and read that article again. Can
Mm.
you just remind us what that article is again?
Are we
Are
dead or alive?
We Dead or Alive by Tapiwa, which is found on www. dot is it Tapiwa
Yeah.
tapiwa.net tapiwastore.net
Tapioca. Yeah.
tapiwastore.net. So I'll share the link below. Now,
Okay.
moving on. You've written over 60 articles. 60, man. That's a lot. Um,
Mm.
and we've had, how you, I mean, the subject area. that you write is quite vast. So, but
mm,
mostly you don't divert from, life lessons, um, and so on and so forth. Now,
mm,
can you tell us a little bit more? I know that you've told us a little bit more about, these thought-provoking topics. How
mm,
do you come about these thought-provoking topics? Because most of them is very, very difficult for me to think of any topic. If somebody asks me about, can you write a story? Then they give me a scenario and they ask me to sort
mm,
of find a topic to that story. I'll
mm,
struggle. But you've written
mm.
over 60 and you've managed to come up with these amazing topics, which are quite thought provoking. How do you do that? Is this something that is inborn, or is it something that you really sit down and think about properly? What is it?
Well, first of all, I'll answer the question, the statement that you last said, which is it inborn? I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
think so. I wouldn't think so. I think
Okay. Fair enough.
writing simply is like going to the gym.
Mhm.
It's a muscle.
Okay.
It's a muscle that you need to
To work.
practice. Yeah, you
Yes.
need to exercise that muscle. So I've realized that the more you write, the better you actually become.
Mm.
If I compare myself from where I began and where I am now, it actually feels different. It actually feels different, mainly because of the practice.
Mhm.
And I can't deny one of the things that those weekly articles have helped me with is writing
Right.
constantly. So
Yeah.
it becomes more of a muscle. So you'll be fit. You'll be fit up there. So yeah, and the thing is, life has so many lessons.
Mhm.
And I think that each and every day we encounter different things. And just like I think everyone does. But the only difference between me and other people, I decide to write about those things.
Of course.
But the truth is, we all encounter certain things, bitter, sweet, each and every day. And
Mhm.
it's up to us to pick a lesson
Mm.
from what we would have encountered. So that's what I try to do. And like I said before, I try not to think too hard.
Yeah.
I try not to think too hard when I write because whenever you do so, your mind will easily go blank.
That's true.
The best way to write is write from the heart, write from the heart.
Mm.
You know,
Because it's your
uh,
story, isn't it? It's a story. It's your story that you share. So
yeah,
all these
true.
things comes from the heart. This is something that I always feel like, people always think that maybe these books that we read are fiction. Yes, there might be
Mm,
some fiction stories that people do write,
mm,
but there's no way one can actually write a full book without even writing about themselves. You do write
true.
a piece about yourself in each and every single article that you write, especially when you're writing a book. All these Harry
Mm,
Potter movies and stuff like that, you would find out that there is a
mm,
certain area where these authors have mentioned something that is more like
mm,
relatable to how they live, to their life.
true.
It'll draw you to
Mm,
that that thing,
mm,
the way you're supposed to be writing something about yourself.
yeah, true.
Wow.
And when because when you try to write from your mind,
Mhm.
you it loses that originality.
Mhm.
That impact it should actually have. So, but when you write from the heart, you know it's a very good place to write from. It's actually a very good place to write from, and I actually like how I managed to turn an idea into
Mhm.
something that's reading. There's no greater feeling than when you finally produce the final product.
Yeah.
You'll be like, wow, is this me? So
Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
yeah, so it's actually a good feeling. But I try to write from the heart. I try to use each and every experience, things that I actually encounter
Mm.
uh, each and every day, and I try to impact the next person with my experience, or maybe how I managed to overcome those things. And to be honest with you, most of the things that I do right are things that actually resonate with me.
Wow.
It's just like a song. I'm sure that most of us, maybe when we wake up each and every day, we have a song that we are actually resonating with.
That's true.
Something that you can actually put on repeat for the whole day and not get bored. And so that's almost the same concept that I follow when I write. There's always something, a message that will be resonating with you.
No,
Then you
that's
just try to paint a picture from that.
I really relate. I can relate to what you just said. I think
Mm,
it's the most powerful tool that you have. Your mind is the most powerful tool that you have, and your heart also is the most powerful tool that you have. So
mm,
sometimes when we used to write exams back in school,
mm,
when we were
mm,
younger, um, we used to cram things, and we're writing from the
mm.
mind, right?
True. Mm. I can relate.
You can relate. And then when you're stricken by the very difficult questions like your favorite holiday, that's when you
Mm,
start writing from the heart, because
mm,
in that way there's no too much lying,
mm.
it's either you went on a favorite holiday or you never did.
Oh, you
So you
never
write,
did.
you write from the heart, you know what I mean? And in
Very
terms of
true.
exams and stuff like that, you write from your mind. So it's quite impressive, the way people really get author some of these most important books. It's always
Mm,
about writing about your personal life and writing from the heart. Now, I'd like to hear from you. These are some of the
okay.
lessons that I do teach most of the time. I call myself a teacher. Am I? Nah, but these are always discuss in these sessions.
Mm.
Um, I would like to know a little bit more, since you're a life coach, Tapiwa.
Okay.
What do you think about um, networking and collaboration, especially for those entrepreneurs that would want to sort of start businesses? This is something that is quite important, especially in
Mm,
our generation. We
okay.
used to have our fathers, our mothers. They never wanted to sort of, you know, collaborate or network with anybody. And one of the things that I always hear people saying is, um, I don't want someone to steal my idea. Therefore, I'm not going to share. Um, so I've
Mm,
seen this quite a lot. And those people that do that are the ones that die the
mm.
first death that you've actually spoken about in your book. Um, what do you think
True.
about such kind of mentality?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to mention that at one time in my career, I was in a networking company.
Hmm.
So one of the things that I actually began to appreciate more was teamwork.
Mhm.
Was teamwork, and I've learned that in life you can never really go with it alone.
Hmm.
So it's very important. You always need someone. You
Definitely.
always need someone to by your side, and the more people you have, the better. But it's not always about quantity, but it's also about the quality of people you surround yourselves with.
Mhm.
So you have to try to like trade a very thin line between quality and
Mhm.
quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I say, networking is very important. It makes the dream work, and like those people say that I don't want people to steal my idea. Like you say, those are the people who end up not doing anything about their own idea, and
Yes.
like you say, you die.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
die with your
Yes.
idea. With you die with your dreams in your heart,
Yeah.
and no
Yeah.
one will ever know about them
Wow.
when you're gone. And so it's also good. One thing that I've also noticed that when you team up with certain people, you always have people who will hold you accountable.
Mm.
Because sometimes, especially when you're in business, I think accountability is very important. Because sometimes when you try to go at it alone, you have a tendency to be reluctant,
Mhm.
to procrastinate, because no one is holding you accountable.
Yeah.
But when you're a team and you understand that you actually have a role to play in order for the team to succeed, you
Mhm.
always have that drive. You always have people to support you, people to push you,
Mm.
and therefore it makes the dream work. And I wouldn't want to lie. One of the things that I did, okay, sorry to bring it back to me, but
That's
like I said, I think
that's okay.
I can only refer to my life because that's the one I know best. One of the things that I try to do, especially when I want to write something big like a book, I tell someone,
Mm.
I tell people about it. Maybe not everyone, but my inner circle, so that indirectly I'll be telling them to hold me accountable.
Mm.
So uh, every time someone communicates with you, and they'll be like, "So what chapter are you on now?" Then
Because remember you told me you're writing a book.
so it
Right.
all it helps to give you that push, that nudge you want. So I think, yeah, people, you must learn to network, have a team,
Mm.
people to push you, people to drive you, and together you can actually realize the dream faster, better than going at it alone.
Wow. No, that's thank you so much for sharing that, because this is very critical. And I'm learning quite a lot of stuff from the time that I've started, having these sessions. I've learned that there is a lot of work that needs to be done, and this work has to
Mm,
be done by us. Everybody who is aspiring to become an entrepreneur, or you call yourself businessman or woman,
mm,
needs to be in a position of understanding one thing. There
mm.
is this thing called collaboration, or this thing called networking is there for a reason. Now,
True.
a lot of countries, should I say, maybe in the first world, um, you
Mm,
know, these businesses have got massive budgets only for networking, right?
mm. Yeah.
They give their employees some money to network. They
Mm,
attend certain events and so on and so
mm,
forth. Now, some of them
mm,
they go for teamwork engagement, whatever activities and stuff like that. This is quite critical. This is very important because
mm,
it's a human element of whatever business that you're doing. You cannot
mm,
deny or divorce yourself from the human element. The human element is within networking and collaboration. It's outside of your busy writing, you're busy responding
mm,
to emails and stuff like that. It's not all office
mm,
work. But when
mm,
somebody is talking about business, especially in an African context, we sort
mm,
of brag quite a lot about not having enough time. Now, I've seen people saying this a lot of times.
mm,
Oh, I don't have time. That's one of them which bothers me. I just don't understand. Then there is another one
mm,
which says, I'm at the office, right? Meet me at the
mm,
office.
mm,
We've got this sort of a bragging. Um, I don't know concept of bragging that we have in Africa,
mm,
and in most
mm,
cases, you realize that
mm,
our abilities to network and our abilities to collaborate with people is so limited, and that we need to
mm,
improve a
mm,
lot in those areas. And also sharing
mm,
information is not only caring, but sharing
mm,
information sharpens your mind. Because if I share my idea
mm,
with you, you're going to tell me that no,
mm,
Tendai, this does not work. If you want it to work,
mm.
do it this way, this way, this way, this way. I've
This
gained
way.
a lot by simply sharing with you,
Mm,
right? And we
yeah, true.
underestimate sharing ideas and the fact that, oh, you know what?
Mm,
There's another one,
mm.
which
What?
is oh, if I put myself out there, especially on social media and stuff like that,
Mm.
share on my status, and don't
Mm.
gonna follow you.
Very true, especially in the African context.
African context, but what you don't understand is lawyer by
Mm.
saying that.
Yeah, true, true,
But
true, true.
you're doing it to yourself, you're not doing it to anybody else, and nobody's bothered about you. You just have to
Yeah,
do
true.
your thing. Show yourself
Mm.
out there. Let somebody who is interested to sort of mingle or sort of maybe partner with you come through and partner with you. You expedite, your process of growth. So it's quite critical that we always teach these lessons that you need to share, you need to be able to collaborate, and you also need to be able to communicate. When you're doing that, communicate
Mm.
effectively, network effectively, and also be in a position to share your items or share your ideas sustainably. So this is
Yes.
quite critical, and I like the fact
Mm.
that you also elaborated on those two, which is quite important.
And,
Now,
and okay.
so people are interested in your coaching activity, in coaching services.
Okay.
Can you maybe tell us how they can, before we go on how they can actually get in touch with you? Are you
Okay.
are you interested in mentoring people, or this is part of your service, mentorship?
Okay. Okay. It's part of what I do.
Mhm.
But like I must be honest with you.
Mhm.
Um, I haven't been too aggressive about it
Mhm.
recently because I was trying to strike a balance
Okay.
between a lot of things, my formal job and stuff. But I'm available for those who want me. I can always make time. I'm never
Wow.
too busy for that. I will always make time for that. Those who are interested can freely contact me. Then we can actually make arrangements.
Fantastic. You heard it yourself, guys. You've got a mentor who is willing to sort of mentor you. This is something that we are missing, especially for those people. I always refer to this. I'm sorry, guys. Entrepreneurs, we are slacking quite a lot in Africa. We are messing about. We are not doing what we are meant to be doing. Um,
Okay.
there are things that we need to be looking into. Mentorship is one of the most important things. You're struggling, you've got an idea, you want to take it out there, but you don't know what are the next steps. Mentorship is what will help you. And people like Tapiwa
Mm.
here will be able to help you, would be able to sort of push you in the right direction. He is available. He can actually be able to assist you. Get that opportunity, grab that opportunity, give him a call. We'll display his number. Are we going to display your number?
No, I don't mind.
Yep, of course.
I don't mind.
So maybe you might think, no.
No, no, no. I actually don't mind. I actually
Fantastic.
don't
So
mind.
we'll display your number, and then anyone who wants to call Tapiwa can just simply get in touch with him. You've got your idea that you want to get out there. He is the man. He can actually assist you to do that. And you need
Mm.
that guidance, somebody who is gonna, hold your hand and who's gonna hold you accountable, like what he said, to sort of go through these things. It's not easy. The world of entrepreneurship is not easy. You might think,
No.
oh no, I'll do it yet, I'll do it tomorrow, or I've done it
Mm.
yesterday and I failed. But at the end of the day,
Mm.
you failed because you didn't have Tapioca to guide you through. That's the important thing. You need to understand. So, so yeah, thank you so
Mm.
much. Thank you so much, Tapiwa. And I do appreciate you for coming through. The most important
Mm.
thing that we've shared here today is understanding that you need to do something in life, and
Mm.
do something for yourself. Start something. If you don't
Yeah.
do it, you're as good as dead. And then we've got physical death, for which we're all going to die, not to freak you out. And then
Mm.
you need to be remembered after you've died for doing something great, not just to be forgotten the very moment that we put you under the 6 feet, whatever it is, the measurement.
Mm. Yeah.
So I don't know the measurements they are using now. I know it was 6 feet before. Things are changing. Maybe you'll be very deeper. But yeah, there you go. So what I'm gonna do now, guys, I'm gonna try and display Tapiwa's number so that you guys can get in touch with him if you would like mentorship. Like I said, is this? Yeah, this is going to be. I don't know, maybe free mentorship or something like that. But Tapiwa is going to help you out with that. So give me your number,
Mm.
Tapiwa, so that I can display it so people can take it. It's
Okay, it's a Zim number, so that's +263
+26. Just give 2 seconds. Yeah, +263. Yeah,
772
2
587
587. Yeah,
793.
793.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, we don't want.
They can also contact me via email,
Okay, via email, which is.
which is Tapiwa.
Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just saying email here. Tapiwa. Yep.
Tapiwa STO
STOGE
GE at gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Okay.
Yep.
Great. I'll just display your contact details. So those people that would like to contact Tapiwa for mentorship. It could be maybe you want to understand how to write articles and stuff like that, or you'd want to sort of maybe have his services as a mentor for your company, or you'd like him to come and present something at a function or a company, whatever it is that you'd want him to do. Just get in touch with him. Like I said, Tapiwa is an educator, he's an author, 2 books that is written so far, over 60 something articles that is written, beautiful thought-provoking articles that you'd also find on I need to write that one down. I think a lot of people would want to know where they can find the articles. So the articles, you'll find them on
tapiwastole.net.
.net.
And they can easily scroll down to the blogs or article section when they reach the home page.
.net. So yeah, this is where you find all the information about Tapiwa. I'm going to display it now, just checking if I haven't made any mistakes. But you let me know, Tapiwa, if I've made any mistakes on this. But there you go. I've just displayed that at the bottom, right on the footer. You guys can get that information, and let me just minimize. Let me just take off some of the information so you get the most relevant information from here. Okay. Tapiwa Stole. There you go. Right.
Okay.
So and show it. There you go. So that's the information for Tapiwa Stole. Tapiwa, if you can check it to see if it's correct. But there you go. That's where you find Tapiwa's blogs. You can find his books on Amazon. Both books are on Amazon. You can simply type in Tapiwa Stole in Amazon. You get all his books. They'll come up. And if you want his email, there's his email also at the bottom. And there's his phone number. You can contact him. So thank you so much for those who've been watching us. And thank you so much, Tapiwa, for coming through. I appreciate you, man, for
sharing an honor
with us. Amazing.
No, it's quite an honor, quite a pleasure, and it's actually sad that my time on this show is ended. I really wish I could actually stretch it a bit longer.
We can extend. But no, we invite you here anytime. You're welcome, man. So we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Go and write some more books for us. We need a lot more books. When is the next book coming anyway? Before you go.
Okay. No, well, I think maybe within a year. This one I want to make it better than the next predecessors.
It must be a massive big book. How many volumes are you producing in a year, man?
It's going to be one hell of a book. I think I want to make it one of my best so far. So I'll just try to make to take my time. But I think within a year or so I'll be done.
Awesome. Thank you, Tapiwa. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate you guys. Have a very good night, and please keep supporting us. Next week, we're going to be having Nyaradzo Moyo from Yanaya. She's going to come here and maybe tell us a little bit more about how her business is going, as well as the challenges and also the wins that she's encountered so far. So thank you so much, and much appreciated, guys. Follow Tapiwa. Check him out. On Instagram, what's your name, pal? What's your name, Tips?
No, it's I just use my name. It's Tapiwa Stole. And yeah, it's Tapiwa Stole. And I also have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
Facebook page. They can actually follow, like the page, and get regular updates on what will be taking place on our site.
Fantastic. No, thank you so much, Steps. Have a good night, everybody. We're going to end here. Thank you so much for the support.
And bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night, Steps. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.